Hey you. Yeah, you. Smile. Hi friend, you're listening to Marysaystosmile, the podcast I hope you get something out of. Whether it's a smile, laugh, or learning something about whatever it is we're talking about. Hi everybody, it's your girl Mary, and today I'm joined by...
Angie!
Oh my gosh! Okay, I'm so excited for you to be here. Because first of all, this is our first time talking in years, couple years.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's been a hot minute for sure.
Because you haven't come to Hawaii in a while.
Well, I was there at the beginning of the year, but I was just with family because yeah. Yeah, I don't want to bring down the episode right from the get-go.
This is my second and last Zoom recording, I guess, for this season. But
yes.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm so bad with technology. People are always like, you're so young, you should be good at technology. I'm like, I'm really not though. Doing Zoom and just I'm like, props to everyone else. Props.
No, yeah, 100%. I haven't been using Zoom at all. Even in the pandemic, I don't really use it. I use Google Hangouts a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
But I've only done it twice, so that's not really a lot. And I'm on my sister's Zoom right now. It's not even my own.
Love it.
Right?
So this is your first time ever being on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
How did we meet, Angie?
Oh, how did we meet? I'm pretty sure it was through dance.
100%.
Yeah. You were a freshman in university.
I was a sophomore
right?
when I did
you
my
were a sophomore
one.
already?
Yes, sis.
Wow.
Oh, can I tell you something? I don't know if I've ever told you this.
Yeah.
You and Lawrence, but you kind of inspired me to start dancing at UH Hilo. Because the spring semester of my freshman year of college, I will never forget this. Someone was like, hey, there's this thing called Great Leaps. Do you want to go? And I was like, I love dance. Hell yes. And no one told me about dance classes at UH Hilo. And then I saw you in, I think a jazz or ballet piece, and you guys did Barbie or something. And you were such a good dancer, but you were also acting. And I was like, holy crap, this girl right here is amazing. And it was you.
Really?
Yes.
No, you never told me that. Oh
I'm gonna never forget that. I just remember I looked you up in the program. I was like, oh, Angie Jara. Oh my gosh, she was so good.
And then you became friends with me the next year when you started dancing.
Yeah, really hard.
Oh yeah. What class was it? Was it jazz?
I want to say it was it had to have been jazz because it was so high energy. A freaking guy was riding a bicycle, and it was also
that was jazz. Yep, for sure. That was jazz. That sounds like a KO piece.
It does. And it was all the trash and world, or I don't know. It was really, there was a lot going on, but I remember, hey there, Barbie, let's go, Barbie. And then you were like, okay. And I was like, she is serving it. She's serving the platter.
The thing about dance is that, I know that I have decent rhythm and I can move my body okay, but I call myself more of a strong mover than a dancer, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because when I think of dancing, I think of the technically trained dancers, and ballet made me want to cry.
Period.
Because my hip flexors just will not rotate that way. And so, yeah, but oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I was just, I joined dance actually through Grady. Do you remember Grady?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So for people who are listening, oh my gosh, I'm a podcast person now. For everyone who's listening, so Grady Sullivan was one of the dancers in the Hilo side of the island that everyone basically knew because he could break dance. He could literally do anything.
And do it so freaking amazing.
Yeah, he is a very well-rounded dancer. But it was in 2012. I can't remember because me and him did a little bit of a sketch comedy group. We did some videos on YouTube. I wasn't very good, but I was there, and he was part of it too. And then at Center Stage, they started a Latin ballroom class, and then he asked me of all people to be his partner, and I was like, have you never heard, I don't think you've ever seen me dance. Why do you want me to be your partner, knowing how great he is? Yeah. So that's what started it all. Him asking me to be his partner, and then doing that first dance showcase, and then meeting everyone in the community, especially in at center stage.
Nadia.
Nadia and Katresa and Nicole,
Oh,
everyone, and
yes.
Junior, everyone. And then gaining more confidence to like branch out and do other classes. And then
Yeah.
I don't even remember how I started doing Hilo classes because I wasn't even a student anymore when we met.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't even a student, but they kept allowing me to like take classes because they wanted me to be in their performances. Because, like I said, I'm a strong performer, oh, a
Yeah.
strong mover,
Mm-hmm.
but I will sell it.
You, yes.
And that's what I liked about it. It was the story aspect of the dances that they had. So yeah, it was just a really cool thing to do. And oh, Mary, I didn't know I inspired you. That's so
You really did.
weird.
I was just like, oh, I love her. Oh my gosh, look at her. Also, I will, oh my gosh, I wasn't annoyed, but I was like, so you're telling me that this girl can not only dance, I think you can dance, Angie, shush, but she can sing and act. I was like, no, this triple threat up my butt. I was like, no. Like, I remember the first time I heard you
What?
sing, and then, like, I've seen you and stuff, and I'm just like, I hate her. I love
When did
her.
you hear me sing?
I don't, I don't know. You kind of sing a lot. I feel like we also force you to sing, but also, like, you were in shows and stuff, and like,
Mhm.
yeah, but I was just like, how dare the talent.
Oh, thank you. I was just literally just doing my best and everything. And when I first met you and Sharyse and Mary, like
Sarah,
all of
Kiala.
you, yeah, like all of you. Um, I think you like told me once, you were like, yeah, you're a really good dancer. You're like blah blah blah. I want to be just like you. I'm like, I'm still learning. Because like I said, like dancing is like my weakest performing art, and I started in it really late. I was already like 23 when I started taking dance classes.
Hmm.
But like I said, I know that I have rhythm. It's just I never really did more with it. And so when someone like you tells me something like that, it's like I I'm just doing it. I'm still learning and just going for it, and that's all that really matters. So,
Hmm.
yay. Oh, oh, Mary.
I feel like this is a really good segue into our topic, which is kind of background
Oh,
acting slash acting in general, because
okay.
Miss Angie is a background actor, but most importantly, just an actress. She's getting out there.
Mm.
I'm proud to say I know her, and I'm just excited to see your future projects and everything.
Oh, thank you. Well, I haven't really done much background lately. It was the first 2 years I was here in California. That was like my quote unquote stable job. That was the
Mhm.
the job that I got most of my money from. But I haven't really done it much lately. But
Okay.
yeah, and I won't say anymore because I know you have a lot more questions about it, and I'll delve into it once you ask.
Okay, so how did you get into it? Like, I mean, obviously you made the big decision to move to California, but how did you, I guess, start to be in the industry, or like, you know what I mean, get your foot in the door?
Mm. So actually, funny enough, Nadia, because she is from here, before I moved out here, I like had a really long conversation with her, and then she's the one that told me about Central Casting, which is um the agency that basically casts people for background roles, whether it
Oh,
be television and everything. So television, film, everything. She told me about that because she used to do that.
oh,
Um, and so she hooked me up with that. And then she also told me about a website called Backstage, where you can have access to different projects that you can submit yourself for. And so that's how I started with that. She is literally the person that helped me like just started it out for me,
hmm,
essentially. So yeah, that's how. And then I just like submitted myself for things, and it's been a slow roll, but I mean, I wasn't expecting anything, especially since I don't actually live in LA. I live in Riverside County in a small place called Paris,
hmm.
Perris. And on a good day, on average, I want to say it's about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive.
Oof.
Yeah, so I knew straight on when I moved out here that I probably won't be able to get as much like job opportunities because I am out here. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and also when it came in terms of auditioning, it just sucked to have to go like drive over to LA, sometimes in the middle of rush hour, only to be seen for like 5 minutes in a room and then I have
Be
to go
told
back
no.
home. Yeah. Um, and that's fine. That's just it's part of the hustle. Which I feel like I'm not really hustling because I'm not even there. Yeah. Did that make sense?
It did. It did. Yes. Yes.
Cool.
So, how do these websites work? Like, you
Mm.
just upload a headshot and you're like, beautiful Asian girl looking for work. Hi,
Oh my
hi. Wait,
gosh,
that sounds
no.
really weird the way I said it.
That
Take it
sounds like a
back.
different type of website, Mary. That's not what I want to get into. So for backstage, you have to pay a fee. Forget what the annual fee is. You just pay a one-time fee per year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be around 140, 150, maybe less, maybe more. I don't know what it is off the top of my head because I don't know when it takes it out of my account. But so you pay this fee,
Mm-hmm.
and on Backstage specifically, you'll be able to upload as much headshots, pictures, videos, resumes, just like any sort of media onto your own personal profile.
Mm.
Um, and then you'll also put in like the standard details. So like what gender do you identify with, your the ethnicity that you want to be seen as, or that
Mm.
people usually perceive you as, and that'll be a different topic. The age range that you do,
Mm.
or that people perceive you as. And so for me, even though I'm 31, people still think I'm in my 20s.
Yes.
And so,
Amen.
um, and so when I first started out, it used to be 18, I think, to 28, because usually a 10-year age range is that's what they expect.
Yeah.
But right now I put 22 to 30. And
Mm.
30 is really pushing it because when people look at me,
I don't
they
see
don't
30.
yeah, 100%. But I know I'm 30. Listen to my truth. And so that's the age range that I have. So there's that. And then you're also able to, I mean, you can like upload like a separate PDF of resume of like past works you've done. But they also in the profile that they have embedded, you'll be able to um input the different jobs you have. So say you can do like stage work, so like for
Mhm.
theater, have all that. You ever done any like film, television? You can have all that. Modeling, there's a lot of models on Backstage as well. It's not just for actors. It's just for
Oh,
all sorts of performers. I don't want to say it's just for actors. It's for all performers trying to look for gigs, essentially.
yeah.
Because because a lot of the projects you can that you can look at, they'll like look for models, or they'll probably look for like dancers and things like that. So it's for a wide variety of people. So other than your profile, then you can have access to the casting calls. So the casting calls are basically people trying to find people.
Mm.
And when you search for projects, what I do is that I'll put the age range and then the ethnicity and then the type of project that well, not really. I kind of just like leave the type of project open because I want the monies
Yes.
essentially.
Yes.
But the majority of it is like short films and like web series and things like that. And then once you input all the things that you're looking for and that you know that are suitable towards you, then it'll show you a list of different projects that basically line up with what you're searching for. And
Hmm.
then there's another website called Actors Access, which is the same concept as Backstage, but I want to say it's mostly geared towards actors because I mean Actors Access.
Actors
Um,
access.
But for that one, the annual fee is a lot cheaper. I want to say it's in the 70s.
Oh.
That's only if you are also signed up for another website called Showfax. And Showfax, I think it's called Showfax. Oh my gosh, I haven't done it in a while. Um, and what that other website is that a lot of if you were to get like a self-tape request on Actors Access, they usually say, "Oh, the sides or the script will be on Showfax," and then just look up the title, and then you'll find it there. and then you'll have access to it.
Oh.
And so if you have Showfax, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, Showfax, then you'll get a discounted price.
Mm.
However, when it comes to uploading media, there is a cost to everything. I don't remember the specific cost for pictures, but I know for video, it's $22 per minute.
Oh my gosh.
So
That
a
is so
3 minute,
crazy to me.
right? So a 3 minute video is literally $66 down drain.
Mm-hmm.
So that part sucks. But then also like backstage, you'll be able to gain access to like different casting calls and things. I would say Actors Access has better when it comes to like commercial things, so like web ads and things like that. I want to say Actors Access definitely has more of those kind of projects. Just to have like
Mm-hmm.
short films and things like that too, but Actors Access has more of that. And then, like I said, for backstage, it's kind of all encompassing. It's for a lot of different people, a lot of different projects. And yeah, so I use both. And
Okay.
sometimes there are projects that do like intersect. Like I'll see them on both sites.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, they both bring different projects. So yeah.
Okay. So, what are some tips that you would give someone starting out? For example, maybe Mary.
In background or just acting in general?
Ooh, how about both?
So for background, central casting 100%. So central casting has different offices throughout, I think throughout the world, but I think there's three here in the US. So there's in LA, of course, then there's one in New York, and
Mm-hmm.
there's one in Atlanta. Because a
Oh.
lot of people don't realize or don't know that Atlanta is actually like a big hub for a lot of productions now.
Mm.
So yeah, so wherever you are, wherever you're close by, sign up with central casting. And then that process is you go in, they take a full body shot of you, and they also do like a mid shot, or not really cool. Yeah, a mid shot. So from like your chest up. So kind of like a headshot. Um, and when you go in to take your picture, dress in clothes for the type of role that you want to be cast in.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So people will come in like suits or like cocktail dresses and things like that. And there's actually like days out of the week where they can have people who are already registered to like come in and take pictures in different attire.
Mm.
But for the first initial one, whatever you're more comfortable with, or like the roles that you specifically like wouldn't mind doing the most,
Yeah.
that's what you would be dressed in. And for me, I was just like in like a nice blouse and some jeans, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they do that, and then just like backstage and Actors Access, you like fill out your info, your age range, ethnicity, all of that. Your measurements too. Um, and the measurements is important because sometimes they will look for people who can be stand-ins for the main actors.
Oh.
Um, and so like they'll need like a height. So if they just want someone who looks relatively similar to someone, but they need this a specific height or whatever, then and then also like measurements, so like for like bust, waist, or whatever, just having all of those. Sometimes they'll like look for a specific person, and then they'll have access to your measurements so that they'll be able to pull wardrobe for you to try on clothes. Because of
Oh.
the majority of the time, I know this is like I'm rambling on about
No,
it.
no, I honestly love
Um,
it. I feel like I'm learning a
yeah.
lot.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so the majority of background jobs, you usually provide your own wardrobe. So
Mm.
the night before, you get information about the type of clothes, the type of colors to wear and not wear, patterns and things. Usually wear things that are logoless, um, clothes that don't have really chaotic
Print.
patterns,
Mhm.
because you don't want to distract from the actual like actor or scene or whatever. Um, and then usually it's like come in full hair and makeup. So you have to have your entire face and hair done before you get into set.
Mm.
But for the measurements, like say it's a period piece, and you most likely don't even have clothes from like the 1920s. And so then yeah, they'll have access to that and then be able to pull from whatever place that they get their wardrobe from and be able to do that. And I've done a couple of those, and that was really cool.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then for acting, the question is how to start off, right?
Yes, yes.
In the industry, right. So yeah, just backstage and actors access, and just submitting yourself to projects that you feel you'd be good for. And then for me, I was kind of just at the start of it, I was just applying for things that I like for
Everything.
not really anything and everything, but just like a lot more than I do now.
Mm,
Um, because there's just a lot more, there's like roles that I want to cater towards now that I have a little more experience
okay.
and know would be a better fit for me. But no, yeah, just like literally just like get yourself out there, submit yourself to things. And a lot of stuff that you submit for, even if you feel like you may not have any leeway or like there's no chance that you would possibly get it, just do it anyway. So that actually happened with the LG phone commercial that I did.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So what had happened with that was 2 months prior to the shoots, they just said that they were just looking for like, oh, female one, female two, I think. And then so I submitted for it. And I think about a month later, oh no, like maybe like a week or so later, I checked back on the application because you can do that to see if,
Mm-hmm.
it's still pending or whatever. And then when I looked back on that casting call, it said model. And I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna get this, whatever.
Uh-huh. I mean, you
um,
are. Like, you're gorgeous.
but what like usually what they mean by model, if it's not specified, like all
Model
shapes and
actor.
sizes, and no, usually it's just like model, like runway model type
Oh.
body, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought for sure, no, that's fine, I won't get it, it's okay. But then it was I was about to say turn of the century. No. It was New Year's Day.
Wow.
No, New Year's. So I think I submitted for it back in like November. And then at the beginning of the next year, they sent me a request to go audition for them in LA. Um, However, on New Year's Eve, my sister and I had stayed at the Queen Mary,
Mm-hmm.
and we both ice skated for the first time because I had a little rink there.
Ooh.
However, the way that my left boot was tied up, it like messed with my left ankle, and my left ankle is my bad ankle because I sprained it really horribly back in high school, and so it just exacerbated it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got this audition request, I decided to just not show up because I couldn't really put too much weight on it.
Oh.
And I'm pretty sure it was on the 3rd, January 3rd, that they wanted to see me. So that day comes and I'm like icing and taking care of my ankle and it's getting kind of better. But I don't show up. And I remember early the next morning, like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, I get a phone call from a number I don't recognize. And I just happened to be awake, which never really happens. But I saw like someone's calling and I just let it go to voicemail. And when I listened to it, it was one of the producers for that commercial that I had applied for. And in his voicemail, he said something along the lines of, "Oh, I was just wondering, like why you weren't at the audition and blah blah blah. Like, give me a call back." And I was just like,
Wow.
"That's interesting." So then later on that day at a more decent hour, I called him back. I let him know like what had happened, that like my ankle just wasn't happy and that's why I
Mm-hmm.
didn't show up. But I guess they like really wanted to see me because he told me, "Oh, just send in a self tape. Just do it like a mid shot, so it's chest up of you saying your name, and then do a full body shot of you like doing side profile, forward, and side profile. That's it. That was like super simple, right?" And I
Yeah.
just thought, okay, yeah, cool. So my sister Anjanette helped me do that. Didn't think anything of it. Didn't hear anything for the next, actually, like maybe like the next day, because I think it was the next day after I had sent in that video. I got a call from the wardrobe department, and on the other line, she said, "Hi, this is blah 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 from with the LG shoot. I was wondering when you'd be available for a fitting."
Did I get it?
And
What?
I no 100%. I was so confused, and I thought, oh, yeah. When would you need me to come in? And I'm like, come in, cool, fantastic. And I remember hanging up, and screaming at the top of my lungs. I was so excited.
Oh my gosh.
Um, and then literally about a minute or so later, the producer called me to let me know that I got it, and I was like, actually,
Already
the
knew.
right, the wardrobe person like just called me. So, but thank you for the opportunity. So, moral of the story is, even if a role doesn't seem like you would be a good fit,
Hmm.
you
Just
don't know
do it.
because there's so many factors that are out of your control that can make or break a decision of whether they cast you or not. It could
Hmm.
be as simple as there's this one person, his name is Nolan North. He is a very well-known voice actor for video games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he also does, I don't know if you've heard of like Uncharted. Anyway, yeah, so he like did no, you're totally fine. He does the motion capture for the main character for the Uncharted video games.
Ooh.
And um he like answered a question about an acting question of some sort, and then he said how he was up for like kind of like a small bit role for something. I can't remember if it was a film or a TV show, and right when he was doing his audition, he flubbed his line. So he thought, oh, shoot, I totally blew it. But then afterwards, he called his agent and saying, hey, I don't think I'm going to get it. And then his agent told him, oh, actually, you got the job.
Ah.
Right. But he thought that he like didn't, obviously, he just was flubbing everywhere. Like, wasn't a good audition experience for him.
Hmm.
But then when he was on set, he asked the producer, he said, hey, I was wondering, why did you cast me? And then it was just as simple. The guy just told him, like, oh, we just want to make sure you can speak English. It's things like that. You just don't know.
Hmm.
You literally just don't know. Oh my gosh, can I tell you about an audition that I didn't go to that I kind of regret not doing?
Yes, tell me. Ooh.
Oh my gosh, I have a sinking feeling in my chest just thinking about it. It was 20, I think it was 2017. No, yeah, it was
Mhm.
2017 because it was Um, I had just gotten an agent kind of randomly, and so they were like submitting me for things and whatnot.
Mhm.
But I was in the middle of like rehearsing and training for Ling, the short film that I did.
Oh, yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. And so, but then this project came up that was for a Disney show. Do you know Andy Mack?
I love Andy Mack. It's like Canadian.
Yeah, but it's a Disney show.
It is, yes.
So,
No,
um,
no, Angie.
okay, listen.
You're like, it's not helping. You're not helping.
You're really not. So when that came my way, it was through the agency, and I got it on Actors Access because that's how they would tell me if I had an audition. I would just like check Actors Access, and then I would see if I have an audition I have to go to.
Mm-hmm.
So so it was for Andy Mack, but it was for the younger version of the grandma. Stop it,
Oh,
stop it, stop it. I know. So it's for the younger version of the grandma. However, the age range that they had it at was between 30 and 40. And I was 27 at the time. And I
yeah.
thought, there's no way. There's no
Yeah.
way they're gonna like I'm gonna be believably like in that age range.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like kindly told my agent, hey, like I'm not really gonna go in for this audition because I don't feel like I'm right for it. I like emotionally, don't give me that look.
I'm not.
Um
I'm not.
um just yeah, just like emotionally, I just didn't feel like I would be a right fit. I didn't even see like any sides or like a script to it or nothing. I just like I didn't feel that
Mm.
I was a good fit. And well, I mean, the way that the agent like responded to me in the messages was kind of like, she said it's just like, oh, why don't you want to do it? It's like for a Disney show. Like, why don't you want to do it? And I was just like, I just feel like I'm not a good fit. It's like
Yeah.
I just don't want to. However, the casting director, after the first day that I was supposed to go in, the casting director kept sending me requests to come in like for the next 2 days.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so the next day when I didn't go in, she requested again for me to come in the next day. And I was like, oh my gosh. And my agent had told me, it's like they picture picked you. It's basically means they just looked at my headshot and they thought, yeah, we want to look at her. We want to see her.
Oh.
Me not knowing, because this was like within the first year of me being here. I didn't
Right,
really, I was
right.
still
You're like, it
pretty,
doesn't work this fast.
it was no, not that. It was just that I was still green. So when you say like an actor is green, that means that they're still pretty new to the industry. There's still a lot that they need to learn. I was still
Oh.
pretty green. And so like even though my agent told me that they picture picked me, it's like that didn't matter because I didn't feel like it was a good fit. So I didn't do that. But then looking back on it now, it's like even if they didn't cast me for that role, I would have been seen by a casting director within Disney. And if I didn't fit that role, they maybe could have seen me for another role that would
Yeah.
have been a better fit for. And so That's one of the things that I regret for sure. That just comes back around to like going for something even if you don't think that
Mm-hmm.
you're right for it.
It can still lead to other things.
Yes. Moral of the story. I think about it
It was a
often.
learning experience you had to
Yeah,
go through.
100%. Yeah, 100%. But shit. But yeah, so there's that. Did I answer your question?
Yes. Okay, random off topic question. Do you feel like you need an agent in this industry or like when you're starting off?
You're starting off, no. And you're not really going to get an agent or a manager right away, especially if you don't have much experience or you don't have any footage to show for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, it can definitely help. And I've had a couple of agents, but just for me, it was hard to keep up with the auditions because I'm not in LA.
Oh.
Um, and so I've been holding off on it until I like move closer. So when I know that I'm have an easier access to
Mm-hmm.
auditions. I mean, right now it's definitely different. They'll base it off of maybe like a Zoom audition or a self tape.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm like waiting and just like kind of taking my own time right now. Because last year during the thick of the pandemic, I wasn't actively looking for anything because I
Yeah.
mean, you
Period.
couldn't be close to anyone without fearing for your life and their life.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you don't really need to. That's the beauty of Actors Access and Backstage because you can just self-submit for yourself. You have control on the projects that you want to be submitted for.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But having an agent can definitely
Open doors.
open. Yep, that's exactly. You took it right out of my mouth. Just like the Disney audition that I didn't go into. And back then I didn't really realize how big Andy Mack was.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just knew that she was like an Asian character, an Asian lead on a Disney show, but I didn't realize, how, the impact that it had. But also, like I said, I was like in the middle of rehearsing and training for Ling, and so I was like
Oh, yeah, yeah,
concentrated
yeah.
on that. Because if I did get that, they would have flown me out for a few days somewhere in the Midwest. I can't remember. Like, I want to say Missouri. I don't think it's Missouri, but somewhere over there. That's where they
Mm-hmm.
shot it. It was I want to say like less than a month until we were gonna start shooting for Ling, and so
Oh, it would have like,
I, yeah, so there was like other factors to it too, but I definitely learned my lesson to just like go out for it anyway, even if I don't feel like it'd be worth it. So
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. So we've been talking about roles that you kind of want to, you feel like you fit for, whatever, whatever. What is your dream role? Like, what kind of character do you really want to play? Like, if someone offered something to you, you would be like, yes, period, done.
Do you want it like separate for background and acting or
Just acting, not
just
background.
acting in general?
Yeah.
The thing is, I like I'm a person that doesn't remember my dreams, so I can't say, "Oh, I've dreamt this all my life" because I don't remember my dreams. And I also don't like putting that kind of not pressure. I guess just not setting that kind of goal for myself. But as far as like a role that I would like to do,
Mm-hmm.
that I would like to just see in the future and be able to be a part of is like a person of Philippine descent that's in a lead role. Because representation, everyone knows how it's lacking in like the Asian
Yeah.
department in
Yep.
America at least. And people who are of Philippine ancestry, they're the most invisible
Mm-hmm.
because we'll have like Chinese American, Korean American, Japanese
Yeah.
American, but you don't really see many people who are
Filipino.
from the Philippines, right?
Period.
And so I got so happy when I heard how Joe Coy is going to have a TV series based on a
Mm.
Filipino family
Yeah.
because he's half Filipino and it's called Joseph, which is as Filipino as it can get.
Yes. Yes.
But that just made me like made me realize how far representation really has come, but there's still so much
That we
that
can
needs
do.
that needs to be worked on for sure. So just anything where I would be able to represent my heritage, my culture, that's
Mm-hmm.
definitely something I want to do. And I actually have like I booked a short film actually exactly 2 years ago that kept getting pushed back and then the pandemic happened, so we couldn't do it. Or it's like a little Filipino short film. Yeah. And it
I
was
love that.
that was really mind blowing for me because I mean, growing up, people always assumed that I was anything but Filipino.
Mm.
Even people who like know people who are from the Philippines or like roots from the Philippines, some of them would think I was like half white. And it's because
Mm-hmm.
I'm light skinned.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up, people always thought I was like Japanese. And then it wasn't until maybe like the year before I moved out to California, people started thinking, oh, like you look kind of Korean or you look like anything but Filipino,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And there have been lots of moments, well, not lots of moments, maybe like a handful of moments of, just starting out and acting and knowing how people look at me, but wanting so badly for people to actually see me, see my culture, see
Yeah.
my truth within who I know who I am, but there are other people telling me that I don't look like it. And
Yeah.
that's been so hard. And so when I got this short film, I cried so much
Oh.
because actually the way that I had applied for it was through Instagram. Because
Oh.
yeah, I think it was either through it was like one of like the Asian American Instagram accounts that I follow, but it's like an entertainment industry type of account, and they posted a casting notice saying, "Oh, this person's looking for these roles," and then one of them was like within my age range, and then her character traits seemed like something I feel like I could do, and so I submitted myself for it through email, and then the director emailed me the next day asking when we'd be able to like meet. And I wasn't expecting such a fast response, you
Yeah.
know? And I thought, oh, well, I'm working today. Maybe like tomorrow we can meet somewhere. We like met in Anaheim.
Mm.
Because I told him how I wasn't in LA specifically. And so he's like, okay, we can meet halfway, that's fine. So I met him. He's half Filipino. And when I met with him, he was just telling me the story, and it was everything that I didn't know I wanted to do to be able to represent myself. And
Wow.
the fact that he like saw me for who I know that I am, who I am, it just made an even bigger impact on me. And right before we like separated at that meeting, I told him how I was really grateful that he like was even considering me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get the part yet. He was just like talking to me
Right.
about it and like considering me. And I was telling him like I'm really glad that you're considering me because like
This is all I want.
it's that people don't really see me as, having roots from the Philippines. And then him being half Filipino, and he actually lived in the Philippines when he was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so he like really resonated with that. And even though he has like deep roots within his Philippine heritage, just like knowing like how people just don't perceive you as you perceive yourself. And then I remember walking away from that meeting and just like crying because I couldn't believe it. And then I had a little callback, a chemistry read actually, with one of with the guy that I was gonna be paired up with.
Mm-hmm.
He is the brother of a very well-known Filipino American actor. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, um
Continue, continue. Anyways.
yeah, so about a week later, I was gonna go do this chemistry read with him. And the morning of, my mom was getting ready for work, and then she asked me like if I had any plans for that day. And I told her how I had a callback for this little Filipino short film, and then she asked me what it was about. And so for my role, I think I could tell you what it's like, what I do. It's basically like an immigrant like story of like just starting in the Philippines and then ending up in America,
Okay.
essentially. And so I told my mom that, and she's like, "Oh, okay, well, like break a leg, good luck." And then she like went downstairs because she was, about to go to work. And I went back into my room, and then she came back upstairs, and then she asked me, "Oh, have I ever told you how your great grandparents met?" And I said, "No." And then she told me how they both met on a plantation in Hawaii. Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
I have chills just thinking about it right now.
Yeah.
And then she was telling me this whole story about how, yeah, they were both cicada farmers.
Mm-hmm.
Cicada? I think that's what it was called. Yeah, how they had met there. And then her dad was born in Hawaii. And
Mm-hmm.
so then when he came back to the Philippines and then he like married and had children and had her and her siblings, they're all basically already Americans because their dad was.
Yeah.
And so that's how she eventually came to Hawaii and then met my dad, yada yada, all that. But the fact that she like told me that and that I have that the role that I was going for had a similar trajectory to like my great grandparents,
Yeah.
it made me extremely emotional. She like left. I started bawling my eyes out.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was such an emotional, spiritual thing.
Yeah.
And then, luckily, it was like a few hours before my callback, so I was like in a better headspace. And then I went in, and then we did the chemistry read. And for some reason, I had the thought that the guy I was supposed to act opposite of had already seen like a few other people. Because when I arrived there, I saw another like Filipina woman. I thought, oh, maybe they're considering her too.
Yeah.
That's fine. But then when we did the chemistry read, we were kind of like outside and they were blocking it. And
Oh.
the way that they were blocking it, or all of us were blocking it, was as if like they hadn't done it yet. And I thought,
Uh-huh.
oh, okay. Maybe I'm like the first person. That's fine. So we did it. It was great. Actually, I really don't know. Like I said, like there are so many factors within an
Hmm.
audition that it can make and break if you get cast or not. But I kind of had a feeling that I already had it because like when I was like sitting in the car before I went into the building, I felt like I already got it. Like this is mine. After my mom told me that
Yes.
story, I was like,
Yes.
no, this is meant to be my role. I'm meant to do
Yes.
this.
Yes.
So whether I got it or not, it felt right. And so after the chemistry read, we went inside, and then people started taking my measurements. And the director had told me that, oh, they just want to take measurements, just to like have them, just in
Yeah.
case. And like if we do go with you, then we'll already have them, and then they can start the wardrobe process.
Yeah.
Because they created dresses that fit my body, and they're beautiful. I'm super stoked. Anyway, yeah, and then the person who designed my wardrobe, he's like this super sweet Filipino guy. He actually works in Marvel. He's a concept artist in Marvel. So
Wow.
there's there's just every single layer Filipina, everything. And he like asked, oh, it's like, oh, you want to take a picture? And I was like, okay, sure. Like I didn't understand why we were taking a picture. I feel like the director already knew that he wanted me. I
Yeah.
guess he just needed to see whether I had chemistry with the other person or not.
Hmm.
However, like I said, that was 2 years ago, exactly 2 years ago today,
Oh,
um,
wow.
when I booked that. But then a lot of things kept pushing the shoot dates back. And then, of course, 2020 happened
Yeah.
because the final dates that we were supposed to was supposed to be in April last year. But then
Oh,
March happened,
yeah.
and the guy said, "Oh, we're actually gonna wait until May because hopefully, like everything will die down within the
No.
next 2 weeks." And I was like, "Okay, well, like keep me posted." And of course, nothing happened. And then a few days ago, I decided to like text him and just touch base and say, "Hey, I hope you and your loved ones have been like safe and well during this
Yeah.
past year. Just like say something, because it's been on my mind
Yeah.
clearly."
Yeah.
And then he finally responded yesterday morning saying how he like was meaning to get in contact with me because he's hoping to like start it up soon. So
Exciting.
I know, I'm so excited. Yeah. So
That's a thing.
going back to your question, just any role where I feel like I can represent my culture,
Yeah.
who I am, and be seen as that. That's really important for me. Also, I wouldn't mind like kicking ass or something. Did
Period.
did you see how Marvel has a new Filipino American superhero? Mm-hmm.
No.
I think it came out like within the past week. So her name is Ari Agbayani, and she's Filipino American,
I love the last name. Like
right?
accurate.
Right? Very accurate. Yeah, and I guess there's like a part of the Marvel universe where different people yield the Captain America shield, and she's one of
Ah.
them. But the person who created her said that she's more of a Bucky, where he'll
Hmm.
kind of like bend the rules to like be able to achieve what she wants to achieve.
Right.
But I thought that's
That
I
would be
wouldn't
really
mind doing
cool.
that. 100%. Yeah, so yeah,
Alrighty.
cool.
So I feel like we didn't even get to almost half of the
I'm
questions, but we
so
have so
sorry.
much like content from this. So all this
Oh,
is
cool.
telling me is that we're doing it again. We're doing more episodes. Period.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm down.
Like it's a
Sure.
very vague,
Broad.
broad topic that there's
Hmm.
obviously so many facets to, but I have to cut us off here before we have like a 12-hour episode.
I apologize. I was rambling on.
No, but like honestly, like I love hearing about your experiences because
Mm,
I don't know, you're so relatable and like you're real and everything. You're not just I don't know. I love hearing you talk and like share your
Mm.
insight on things. And it's just so fascinating. And I honestly feel like I learned so much from this episode.
Good. I'm glad.
Yes, but for sure. It just means part two on
Yeah.
this topic.
Let me know.
Yes. Okay. Well,
Down.
thank you so much for being here on this episode, Angie.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And I'm excited for all of your future projects.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. I hope you guys all enjoyed. And I don't know, let us know. Did you like it? Do you want more? Do we need like a mini series? Let us know.
Oh,
All right. Bye.
bye.
Hi there. That was an episode of Marysaystosmile. Please like, share, review, and subscribe. Basically, however you're listening to this podcast. Also, I've made an email for you guys to send questions or topics that you would like for me to discuss/talk about. It's going to be himarysaystosmile@gmail.com. One more time, himarysaystosmile@gmail.com. Anyways, I hope you have the most amazing day. Bye!